My dear friends, myself Dr. Pramod Kumar Gupta. I am inviting Dr. D.N. Sansanwal sir for today's program. Welcome, sir.
Dear friends, come to the second day of the 4 days program. See, today I'm going to tell you the steps of action research. No, if you do action research based on action research, no journal will publish the paper. Okay, so therefore you cannot publish paper. There's no sense of presenting in the conference, because the purpose of conference is very different. The purpose of publishing paper in the journal is very different, and that is they want to use the finding of your research along with the finding of other researches, and then try to see whether they can reach to the generalization or not. So that is the purpose. If generalization is not the purpose, then there is no sense of conducting same type of researches in different countries, etc., etc. So therefore, it is not. The objective is only because you as a researcher you were the teacher, and when you were teaching, you faced some problem. And then since you are a teacher, you thought of doing something so that that problem is solved. So it is a localized problem. You as a teacher is facing, you have to think of some research, or you may discuss with some other people and find out some of the regions. And if you want to try, you can try some of the strategy. So the basic purpose of the action research is to improve the local, your own system. Whatever will work with your student may not work with another students, because the characteristics of your student is very different from the other students, because your own abilities are very different from the other teachers' ability. So therefore, the purpose is absolutely not to reach to the stage of generalization, but just localized problem, and you have to find the solution of that. So let us start with the steps. Vinita, what you are saying, the social skill, I'm sure you know the meaning of, you know the difference between ability and skills. Now, if you want to develop the skill and you want to do some research related to the social skills, then you can have a quantitative. And once you have the quantitative data, you can have hypothesis. Why not? You can have hypothesis, 100%. And the hypothesis which you will have will be in the null form. You cannot put it in the directional form. Okay. So when I think of doing the action research, then the steps are, the first step is identification of problem. You have to identify the problem. And yesterday I told you, in identification of the problem, there will be 3 things which you as a researcher must do it. What are those three things? You as a researcher should try to spell out the variable. You should write the title and you should write the objective. These are the three things which you should do as far as the identification of problem is concerned. So let me quickly tell you the variables. I'm sure all of you know the meaning of the variable. Variable refers to changeable characteristics. Variable refers to the changeable characteristic. Those characteristics which can be changed will be the variable. For example, your weight, your height, your blood pressure, your body temperature, your interest, your reading comprehension, your achievement, your interest. All these are the variables because you can change them. You know, when you were small, your interest was something else. When you grew up, your interest was something else. When you were 1 year old, your weight was something else. When you were 10 years old, your weight was something else. Your height changes. So there are so many variables. And if variables would not have been there, then, my dear friend, there was no need of conducting any research. Forget about the action research. No research was possible without the variable. So therefore, in action research also, you have to have a variable. And then it's called constant. Constant refers to unchangeable characteristics. Unchangeable characteristics. There are so many. See how many days in a week. There are 7 days. You ask anyone you like. Okay. So how many seconds in 1 minute? Everybody will say the same. The sum of 3 angles of a triangle. Everyone will tell you the same answer. So there are so many words, characteristics which are constant and you cannot change them. You cannot make them variable. But if you have variable, you can hold them constant. For example, if there is a school, which is the primary school, okay, and if it is primary girls school, then the boys cannot be admitted. Then in that case, my gender is constant. तो अगर मान लीजिए कोई पाठशाला है वो लड़कियों के लिए, तो वहां लड़के नहीं जा सकते, तो आपने लिंग को वहां पे कांस्टेंट कर दिया, इसको हेल्ड कांस्टेंट कहते हैं. सो ए वेरिएबल मे बी हेल्ड कांस्टेंट, but a constant can never be made variable. अगर एक वीक में 7 days होते हैं, you can't make it 8 days. Working days is a variable because somewhere working days are 5, somewhere working days are 7, somewhere working days are 4 now. Okay, see total hours in day and night. You ask anyone, everyone will say 24 hours. But the length of the night is night of 8 hours, 9 hours. During winter, it is something else. During summer, it is something else. In science, there are many constants. Many. Okay? And therefore, you can't make them variable. So this is important. Now the types of the variable are basically there are two types of variable. One is called continuous. Continuous variable means a variable which can be expressed in the whole number. For example, your height. Somebody height can be 3 feet. Somebody height can be 3 feet, 5 inches. Somebody weight can be 40 kg. Somebody weight can be 50.5 kg. So weight, height, see marks, the achievement. Somebody may get out of 50, the 30 marks. Somebody may get 30.5 marks. Somebody may get 30.75 marks. So like this, there are many variables which are continuous variable, and continuous variable will have the value in the whole as well as fraction. But another is discontinuous, or you can say discrete. Now, discrete variable is one which can be expressed only in the whole number. For example, the types of car. There might be 3 types of car, or there might be 5 types of car. But you cannot say 3.2 types of car. No, it's not possible. For example, the number of books in the library. The books may be 1,20,533. But you cannot say 1,50,523.1. No, it cannot be. Number of pages, it cannot be in the fraction. Okay, so like this, see the blood count, RBC, red blood count is always in the whole number. So therefore, that sum of the variable will always be the discrete, and sum of the variable will be continuous. Those variables which are discrete, you can never be able to convert them into continuous one. The number of cars, it is discrete, you can't make them continuous. But if there is a continuous variable, you may convert it into discontinuous. For example, height is a continuous variable. You may say average height, you may say below average height, you may say above average height. So you are dividing height into 3 parts. So height is a continuous variable, but you can make it discontinuous. So continuous variable can be made temporarily discontinuous. So continuous variable can be made discontinuous okay, for a specific purpose. कि जो सतत चर है इस सतत चर को आप असतत बना सकते हैं अगर बनाना चाहें, लेकिन असतत चर को आप कभी भी सतत नहीं बना सकते। लिंग है, ये आपका असतत है। नंबर ऑफ वर्ड्स पर लाइन, ये असतत है। नंबर ऑफ बुक्स इन द लाइब्रेरी असतत है। नंबर ऑफ पार्टिसिपेंट्स, नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स इन द क्लास असतत है। कास्ट असतत है। तो ढेर सारे वेरिएबल हैं जो असतत होते हैं। टाइप्स ऑफ वेजिटेबल, टाइप्स ऑफ फ्रूट्स, ये सारे के सारे आपके असतत है। आपके कलर, आपके 7 कलर है, आप इसको 7.2 या 6.5 नहीं कह सकते। तो ये आपके असतत हैं। और कुछ सतत हैं, जैसे आपकी हाइट है, आपका वेट है, आपकी अचीवमेंट है, आपकी रीजनिंग है, आपकी रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन है, एंड सो ऑन सो फोर्थ। स्ट्रेस है, इंटेलिजेंस है, बॉडी टेम्परेचर है, ब्लड प्रेशर है, एंड सो ऑन सो फोर्थ। मेनी आपके कॉन्टिन्यूस वेरिएबल है। ये जनरल है। These variables are general variables, but in action research, because action research is experimental in nature, action research is experimental in nature. So the types of variables are, number one is called independent variable. And number two is dependent variable. तो इन एक्शन रिसर्च, जब आप चर का नाम लिखोगे तो आपको चर का नाम लिखना चाहिए इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल और डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल, स्वतंत्र चर और आश्रित चर। जैसे मान लीजिए मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूं कि मान लीजिए बच्चों की स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक्स होती है। Suppose the students are making spelling mistakes, then what teacher does? Teacher asks the student to write that spelling many times. Now you as a teacher, you have seen that when the students are making the mistake in the spelling, and you ask them to write 20 times or 30 times, still they make the mistake. That means if you ask the student to write that spelling many times, that may not necessarily help the student in improving that particular mistake, the spelling mistakes. Okay, so therefore they may still make a mistake. Now as a teacher, you may like to try something, and when you want to try something, you have to think that what should you do. So now you can do a action research in your own class. If you are teaching Hindi or English, where the students are making spelling mistakes, and then that spelling mistakes will become the variable. And now you have to think of कि आपको क्या करें ताकि that spelling mistake the students are not able to do? Is it that you think something and you may find that phonetics, that if you teach phonetics to the students and use phonetics to see whether their spelling mistakes in English is improved or not. In the same way, in Hindi also, उच्चारण, अगर आप बच्चों को उन कठिन शब्दों के उच्चारण अगर आप कराते हो और कहते हो इस उच्चारण को समझ करके अब आप लिखने की कोशिश करो, अगर आप कुछ इस तरह का काम करना चाहते हैं तो आप फोनेटिक्स, आपने फोनेटिक्स इन इंग्लिश और आपने यहां पे स्पेलिंग, ओके, इंग्लिश स्पेलिंग्स, so English spelling. Now, so you want to teach phonetics to your students. If there are 10 students who are making mistakes, so one of the method that you may like to try with them, the phonetics. So you take those students and then try to give them training through phonetics. Then your phonetics will become the independent variable and your English spelling will become the dependent variable. There is a red color in English because there is one English here and another here. That is why that red color is there. So because you want to train the students in the phonetics and your dependent variable will be English spellings. So you find out whether by giving them the training in the phonetics, whether their English spelling improves or not. और अगर आप हिंदी में करना चाहते हैं तो उच्चारण, प्रोनाउंसिएशन, आप हिंदी शब्द के प्रोनाउंसिएशन को बहुत क्लियरली बच्चों को बताइए और कहिए कि अब आप ये शब्द लिखिए। अगर आप उच्चारण सही करते हैं, और कई बार जो है जो शब्द लिखा जाता है वो उच्चारण अगर आपका ठीक है तो उसी ढंग से वो लिख लेंगे। ये आप ट्राई कर सकते हैं। तो ये आपका जब एक्शन रिसर्च करोगे तो इन एक्शन रिसर्च यू हैव टू थिंक ऑफ द इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल, और इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल यहाँ पे हो जाएगा फोनेटिक्स ऑफ इंग्लिश, या आप इसको ट्रीटमेंट भी कह सकते हैं। So here your phonetics in English can be your treatment, and your dependent variable will be your English spelling, not improvement. Improvement means that beforehand you are biased. So just say English spelling. So dependent variable will be English spelling. Okay. So in action research, you have to think of the independent variable and you have to think of the dependent variable. Let me take another one. Suppose in mathematics, the students are not able to do the word problem, or they make mistake in addition. or they make mistake in division in the lower classes. And if they make mistake in division, then you think, how should you teach them the division, or how should you fraction? If you want to give the concept of the fraction, then how should you give the concept of fraction? Is it that you have a teaching aid, make a teaching aid, and then you use that teaching aid to teach the fractions to the students? So therefore, in that case, your teaching aid may become your independent variable, and therefore your understanding of fractions will become the dependent variable. So your teaching aid will be the independent variable, and understanding of fraction will become the dependent variable. So like this, in any subject, if you like, say for example, many a times, if you find that when you are teaching science and students are not understanding, suppose in science you want to teach the types of flowers. If you want to teach the types of flowers, then how will you teach? Normally, when the teacher teaches, some of the teacher teaches these types of flowers very nicely, and their students, they understand. They even can draw, because they know, they have seen the flower and they can draw. Now, and if you want to teach that, now how will you teach? If you think that you have taught and they are not understanding, still they are confused, when you show them a flower, they are not able to tell you the correct name of the flower. So then what can you do? You may try that every day you are showing them one flower. Okay? Say when you enter into the class, you say good morning, and then you show the flower and you ask them, can any one of you tell me the name of this flower? Maybe one student will tell the correct name, but others are not. Then you can ask them to repeat. And when you are leaving the class, you can again show them and ask what is the name of the flower. Do not ask to the same student who gave you the correct name. You ask the name of the flower to other students. On that day, it is over. Next day, when you are coming, you again bring the same flower which you showed yesterday, and you show them and ask them who can tell the name of this, and see how many students are raising the hands. And then you ask one of them whom you did not ask yesterday, and ask him the name. And you may ask the other students also and let them repeat. After that, show them another flower and ask the name. And you repeat when you leave the class. Before leaving the class, again ask the name. This is how you try for 10 days, for 15 days, and try to find out at the end of the 10th day or 15th day or 12th day, whatever you decide, or after a week, that how many flowers name the students are able to record, are able to tell, are able to remember. Because normally when you show them the real flower, then there are chances that students will be able to remember it. So therefore, in that case, you may have a like this. You show them the real object, show real object, or real flower, or show flower. Okay, and then you ask the name. Name it. So like this. So here name will become your dependent, and you showing the flower is your independent. So in action research, you have to think of the problem which will be related to whatever the subject you are teaching, and whatever is your experience and is your observation, that whether the children or students are able to understand, or there are some portion of that subject which they are not able to understand, not able to recall, not able to, tell. So that means there is some problem. And keep that problem in the mind, and then think of what should you do. Now, when you think of what should you do, it is possible that you may like to discuss with your other teacher of the same subject, maybe the senior teacher. You may discuss. That senior teacher may give you some tips. If that does not work, then you may like to read some of the researches which are published, and they are available in the Shodh Ganga. So you may see the Shodh Ganga, or in your library, there might be some journals which are coming. There are many journals in which the school teachers might be doing some experiments, and they are illustrated. So you may like to take the help of that. So this is how you can think of some treatment. And that thinking of the treatment is very, very, very important. No, Sunita, no. Action research, you cannot do a PhD in that, because I will tell you why you cannot do a PhD. No, absolutely no. Because the purpose of action research is to find solution of the localized problem, of the problem faced by the teacher, or by the principal, or by the administrator. And they find out the solution which best fit in their situation. And the findings of action research can never, never, never be used for generalization. Javed, continuous variable, say, I'll give you an example. Say your height is a continuous variable, your weight is a continuous variable, power of Length is a variable. Temperature. Achievement. Achievement in any subject is a variable. Reasoning. Study habits. Reaction. Reaction towards online teaching. Okay. Cost. Cost of pen. Car speed or speed of car. There are so many variables which are the continuous variable, because these variables can be expressed both in whole number as well as in fraction. Discontinuous variable examples are number of books in libraries, types of car, color, but intensity of the red color becomes your a continuous variable. Otherwise, color is a discrete variable. Say number of working days. Okay, say gender. Say types of schools, languages, subjects, caste, marital status. So like this, there are so many discontinuous variables. No, Sunita, action research cannot be taken up for the dissertation. It cannot be taken up for the research. Absolutely no. It is only to be done by the teacher who is facing some problem. If you are not facing any problem and you are a teacher, you can't do action research because there is no problem. So it is an experimental in nature, but the difference in experimental study and experimental research and action research is the findings of the experimental research will be used for generalization, but the findings of action research cannot be used for generalization. So therefore, it is not possible. You cannot publish paper, you cannot do anything. Absolutely no. No, Shirley. Okay. So now I have given you the examples. Now let me write the title. I'm writing the title of action research. And the title of action research, I am telling you how to write a study of effect of phonetics, a study of effect of phonetics in English, a study of effect of phonetics in English on English. If you don't want to write again English, perfectly correct. If you say spellings, because when it is phonetics in English, it is understood the spelling will also be of the English. But if you want to write English spelling, I have no problem. But if you do not want, the choice is yours. So, a study of effect of phonetics in English on achievement in spelling. Achievement in spelling of class 5th students. So, a study of effect of phonetics in English on achievement in spelling of class 5th students of government higher secondary school. Government higher secondary school RK Puram, Sector 3, RK Puram, New Delhi. Now, your first one is not appropriate title because it is too broad. And whenever it is too broad, it is vague. So a title cannot be vague. If you see the second one, I have written effect. The moment I write the word effect, that means it must be an experimental study. An action research is an experimental study. So now, then if it is an experimental study, then it is important that you should have independent variable. Now, phonetics in English is independent variable. And if it is independent variable, so the third one is narrower, because here effect, whose effect? Now here saying phonetics in English. And now, then effect of phonetics in English on what? Now, if you see the fourth one, here it is written on achievement in spelling. So phonetics in English is your independent variable and achievement becomes a dependent variable. So in the fourth one, you have independent variable and you have a dependent variable. But the achievement in English, whose achievement in English? Now in the fifth one, it is written class fifth students. So if you write class fifth students, then now you have brought the population or the group on which this experiment is to be done. But these class fifth student from where? It is written in the sixth one is written class fifth students. So here it is class, spelling of class fifth students of government higher secondary school. So this class fifth student, this becomes your a population. But the government higher secondary school from where? Now here it is written that class fifth students of higher secondary schools, sector 3 RK-Prom. So the seventh one is appropriate title of action research. So when you have to write the title, so this is how you should write the title. In the title, you must write the variable, and the variable will be independent variable as well as a dependent variable. And then you must have your population, and then you must know your type of research. So the seventh one is appropriate title for the action research. This is how the title for the action research should be written. Let me write one more title of the action research. दोस्तों मैं आपको हिंदी में से आप लिखिए, मैं इसी को लिख के बताता हूं। शासकीय उच्चतर विद्यालय सेक्टर 3 RK-Prom नई दिल्ली के कक्षा 5 के विद्यार्थियों पर कक्षा 5 के विद्यार्थियों पर फोनेटिक्स इन इंग्लिश। अब ये फोनेटिक्स अंग्रेजी का उच्चारण, पता नहीं फोनेटिक्स की क्या हिंदी है, मुझे नहीं आती भैया, आप देख लीजिए। के शासकीय उच्चतर महाविद्यालय और विद्यालय के कक्षा 5वीं के छात्रों के उच्चारण के स्पेलिंग की उपलब्धि पर इंग्लिश फोनेटिक्स के प्रभाव का अध्ययन। ये आप इसको जरा अपनी अध्यापक को भी दिखा लीजिएगा और ये अंग्रेजी वाला आप लिख लीजिए और फिर इसमें थोड़ा सुधार आप कर लीजिएगा। Yes, you must write the name of that school in which you want to do it. तो वहां पे स्कूल का नाम लेना बहुत ही आवश्यक है, आपको लिखना पड़ेगा। तो एक हमने आपको ये लिख के बता दिया, मैं आपको एक और लिख करके बताना चाहता हूं। अब मैं डायरेक्ट लिख रहा हूं। Another title of action research. Say a study of effect of मैंने ऊपर क्या क्या लिखा, मैं इसको देखता हूं। ओके, इफेक्ट ऑफ टीचिंग aids, a study of effect of teaching aids on achievement in से यहाँ पे आपको सब्जेक्ट ना लिख करके आपको वो टॉपिक के नाम लिखे, जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे पहले लिखा है कि अचीवमेंट इन स्पेलिंग, मैंने इंग्लिश नहीं लिखा, मैंने स्पेलिंग लिखा है और ये इंग्लिश की स्पेलिंग है। तो आपको अचीवमेंट स्पेलिंग की देखनी है, आपको मीनिंग नहीं देख रहे। तो यहां पर भी अगर मैं लिखूं टीचिंग एड ऑन अचीवमेंट इन वॉल्यूम of cylinder, a study, because volume of cylinder the students make mistake. So if you want to do an action research and you are taking the teaching aids, so a study of effect of teaching aids on achievement in volume of cylinder of class 8 students of DAV school Rohtak. Now, if this is my title, now here my teaching aids will become the independent variable, and achievement in volume of cylinder will become the dependent variable. And since I'm teaching in class 8th, so therefore, and I am the teacher in DAV school I'm teaching, so I can do a action research on this particular topic. Let me write another title. This action research can be done by the teacher. आपके अध्यापक एक्शन रिसर्च कर सकते हैं, आपके प्रिंसिपल भी एक्शन रिसर्च कर सकते हैं। से मैं आपको एक और टाइटल लिख करके बता रहा हूं, a study of Sunita, if you want to do for college teacher, you can do action research for college teacher also, no problem at all. No, Nirupam, I don't have any magic type of thing. So action research can be done by the principal, by the teacher of the school, by the teacher of the college, by the teacher of the university, no problem at all. But it must be done by the teacher himself, because the teacher only understands the problem. If I am not teaching, I will not be able to understand the problem. So that is important. And action research cannot be survey. It has to be experimental, because you have to do that and see. When you do that, then Ravi Prakash, if you do a action research, I do not think you can publish a paper. No. Librarian, yes. Shirley, as a librarian, you can do action research, 100%, no problem at all. But you should know what you can do. Now, Dr. Nishtha, you can write the title. You write the title, because this is not the proper title of the action research. But this can be there, no problem at all. You can do this type of research, action research. But if you are teaching there and you are the teacher, if you are from outside, then I don't think you can do the action research. So I'm writing another one. A study of effect. A study of effect of I was thinking something, and because I was discussing, it has gone out. Let me see. A study of effect of. Okay, yes, I was talking about the principle. A study of effect of a study of effect of mother's counseling on attendance of child of primary of government primary school, say Sake, New Delhi. Now, if this is the one, this title is appropriate if the principal wants to do action research. Because the principal found that the children are not coming to the school. So children say on attendance of class 3. Students, a study of effect of mother's counseling on attendance of class 3 students or attendance of students of class 3, that also can be done. Attendance of students of class 3 of government primary schools. Now this the principal can do. If the principal is interested in doing, then the principal can do the action research. So the teacher can do action research, the principal can do action research. In the same way, even management can do action research. So anyone can do action research, not a problem. Correct. Yes, it is okay. Ahmedabad, this is all right. Yes, Nirupam Pandya, you can do that. Yes, if you want that, you can do. Perfectly correct. Very nice. Now, you cannot take two schools. See, what I'm saying is action research cannot be done by people from outside. If you are from outside and if you want to do a research, it cannot be action research, then it has to be research. And research you can do, survey research, you can do experimental research, no problem. But if you are a teacher, if you are a principal, if you are an administrator, and you find a problem and you want to help in finding solution of the problem, then you can do action research. Otherwise, it is not. So therefore, Dr. Sandesh Acharya, you cannot do. So it's not that you take two schools and do it. Absolutely no. Yes, Bikram Kumar Sahu, a study of effect of teaching. I think it is teaching app, effect on, it is not in app in achievement, no. A study of effect of teaching app on achievement in mathematics, not online mathematics teaching, no. Otherwise, a study of effect of online teaching, a study of effect of online teaching on achievement in mathematics of class 5th students. Yes, that can be done. So if you want another title, I can write one more title, absolutely no problem. So a study of effect of online teaching on achievement in mathematics of class 5th students of government middle government of government primary school, whatever the place you want. And if there are many government, then you must know, is it government number 5 or number 6 or whatever it is. Government schools. Say, I'll write one of Malav Kanya government higher secondary school Indore. So yes, that can be there. So I have written yes, you can do Sandesh Acharya, that action research can be done. What you have written, it is possible. You can do. No, Shirley, this is not correct. A study of effect on football. No. If you want football, then effect of football playing on what? So therefore, this is not all right because there is no dependent variable here. So that is wrong. So this is how you can write. And once you have written the title, so let me see how do we write. No, Rizwan, it cannot be the action research. Action research cannot be survey. Action research must be experimental in nature. And what you have written is not experimental, it is survey. So it cannot be survey. It's not all right. So now let me take the objective. Now, before I write the objective, I just like to tell you one important point, that action research is experimental in nature. Okay, and the most appropriate experimental design is, ये डिजाइन है, is pre-test post-test single group design. ये डिजाइन है, and this design means that you have to have a pre-test. O means pre-test, and then you give a treatment, and then it is a post-test. The test which you have taken before the treatment, the same test you have to use after the treatment. मेरे हिंदी वासियों के लिए ये डिजाइन का नाम है प्री टेस्ट पोस्ट टेस्ट सिंगल ग्रुप डिजाइन। इसकी हिंदी आप अपने टीचर से पूछ लीजिएगा कि इसकी हिंदी क्या होगी। आपके टीचर इसको हिंदी में बता देंगे, लेकिन जो डिजाइन का लेआउट है, लेआउट ऑफ प्री टेस्ट पोस्ट टेस्ट डिजाइन, वो मैं आपको बता दूं, इज एज, ये लेआउट है उसका कि आपको एक ग्रुप लेना पड़ेगा और उस ग्रुप पे आपको प्री टेस्टिंग करनी पड़ेगी और उसी ग्रुप को आप ट्रीटमेंट दोगे, चाहे 1 हफ्ते का या 15 दिन का या 10 दिन का या 8 दिन का, जो भी जितने भी दिन आपने उपचार देना है, उन्हीं बच्चों पे वो ही टेस्ट दोबारा करोगे। तो ये प्री टेस्ट हो गया और ये पोस्ट टेस्ट हो गया। प्री माने जो उपचार से पहले दिया गया है उसको प्री कहते हैं, और उपचार के बाद में जो आप टेस्ट देंगे उसको पोस्ट कहेंगे। तो ये डिजाइन यहाँ पे यूज होगा, इसलिए जो इसका ऑब्जेक्टिव लिखा जाएगा वो ऐसे लिखा जाएगा। लीजिए मैं आपको ऑब्जेक्टिव इसके लिए लिख करके बताता हूं। अगर मेरा ये टाइटल है, अगर मेरा टाइटल ये है एक्शन रिसर्च का, तो मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव ये होगा। क्योंकि मेरे पास एक ग्रुप है, जैसे आपने पहले वजन लिया, 15 लोग बाग हैं, हर एक ने अपना अपना वजन लिया और हर एक ने रोज की आधा घंटे तक एक्सरसाइज की, और 10 दिन के बाद में फिर आपने हर एक ने अपना अपना फिर दोबारा वजन लिया। तो आपका प्री आ गया, आपका पोस्ट आ गया। अब आपके जो प्री वेट है उसका आप मीन निकालोगे और पोस्ट के भी मीन निकालोगे, और फिर इन दोनों को आप कंपेयर करोगे। तो यहाँ पे इसमें लिखा जाएगा टू कंपेयर मीन, to compare mean, scores of achievement in volume of cylinder of students before and after teaching. After teaching with the help of teaching aids. ये मेरा, अगर ये मेरा टाइटल है तो ये मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव हो जाएगा। तो मैं टाइटल लिख लिया, मैंने ऑब्जेक्टिव लिख लिया। लीजिए मैं एक दूसरे उसके लिए आपको टाइटल और ऑब्जेक्टिव लिख करके बताना चाहता हूं। मान लीजिए मैं इसके लिए आपको बता दूं कि अगर मेरा ये टाइटल है तो इसके लिए मैं ऑब्जेक्टिव कैसे लिखूंगा। इसके लिए ऑब्जेक्टिव लिखा जाएगा to compare mean scores of actually it is achievement in mathematics नहीं होना चाहिए। यहाँ पे आपको किसी पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक पे करना होगा, और अगर आप पूरा कोर्स पढ़ाना चाहते तो वो फिर आपका एक्शन रिसर्च नहीं होगा, क्योंकि एक्शन रिसर्च वहां होगा जिस टॉपिक में बच्चों को प्रॉब्लम है। तो अगर मैं अचीवमेंट इन प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस, अचीवमेंट इन प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस, तो मैं कहूं टू कंपेयर mean scores of achievement, to compare mean scores of achievement in profit and loss of students before and after teaching. Before and after online teaching. To compare mean scores of achievement in profit and loss of students before and after online teaching. ये आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव हो गया। तो मैंने आपको एक एग्जांपल ये बता दी हैं, एक एग्जांपल ये मैंने दूसरी एग्जांपल आपको बता दी है। अब मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल और लेकर के बता देता हूं। अगर मान लीजिए मेरा ये, अगर मैं ये करना चाहता हूं, या मैं ये करना चाहता हूं से ये अगर मेरे को करना है तो ये मैं तीसरा टाइटल लिख रहा हूं, टाइटल ऑफ एक्शन रिसर्च। a study of effect of phonetics in English on achievement in spelling. इसका जो objective हो जाएगा, that will be to compare mean scores. देखिए, the action research is quantitative in nature. It is never a qualitative in nature. So if you have the variable which is not, will not give you quantitative data, then you cannot do the research. I cannot do action research on home problems. No, because home problems will be the qualitative data, and action research necessarily has to be quantitative in nature. So therefore, you have to have only and only that variable which will give you the numbers, the scores. ये जो action research है, ये संख्यात्मक है, ये गुणात्मक नहीं है. तो आपको ऐसा चर लेना पड़ेगा जिसका आपके पास में जानकारी है, वो नंबर में होगी, ताकि आप मीन निकाल सकें. So to compare mean scores of achievement in spelling, mean scores of achievement in spelling of students before and after. Before and after giving phonetics, in after, before and after treatment of phonetics in English. तो ये आपके ऑब्जेक्टिव हो गए. तो मैंने आपको टाइटल लिखना बता दिया, मैंने आपको ऑब्जेक्टिव लिखने बता दिए. और क्योंकि इसके अंदर आपका क्वांटिटेटिव डेटा होगा, आप चाहें तो आप इसका हाइपोथेसिस भी लिख सकते हैं. देखिए, तो आपको अगर हाइपोथेसिस लिखना है तो आप लिख सकते हैं, कोई चिंता की बात नहीं है इसके अंदर, क्योंकि आपके पास में क्वांटिटेटिव डेटा आएगा. तो अगर आपको हाइपोथेसिस लिखना है, my dear friend, you can compare percentages, but you cannot find out whether the percentage is significantly different from the other percentage or not. So therefore, you cannot. No, action, Anita, action research cannot be qualitative in nature. Anita, action research cannot be qualitative in nature. It has to be experimental in nature. Yes, absenteeism. If you want absenteeism, if a child is absent today, and you say if you absent for 1 day, your marks will be deducted by half. Okay, so if you can convert, then you can do, no problem at all, but not causes of absenteeism, because causes of absenteeism will not be an experimental study, it will be a survey study. So therefore, your action research has to be necessarily of experimental in nature. now I'm writing the hypothesis. So let me write hypothesis for this. Hypothesis will be there is no significant difference in. Now you can copy and paste from here and just write. That becomes the hypothesis. There is no significant difference in mean scores of achievement in spelling of students before and after treatment of phonetics in English. अब आपको अगर इस सेकंड वाले का हाइपोथेसिस लिखना है, इसका हाइपोथेसिस ये हो जाएगा that there is no significant difference in mean scores. There is no significant difference in mean scores of achievement in profit and loss of students before and after online teaching. और अगर आपको, if you want to write the hypothesis for the first one, so the hypothesis for the first one will become like this, that you can copy paste like this, and you can say that there is no significant difference in mean scores of achievement in volume of cylinder of students before and after teaching with the help of teaching aids. So this is how you can write your title, you can write your objective, you can write your hypothesis. So step number 1 is you have done identification of problem, and you have written the state, you have written your title, you have written your hypothesis, your objective. So first step is over. The second step is formulation of hypothesis. So you have formulated the hypothesis. So this is how the hypothesis has to be formulated. Yes, action research is always experimental in nature. The difference between experimental research and action research, I have told you 10 times. Once again, I repeat that when you conduct action research, it is done by the teacher who is teaching, and he does that action research whenever there is a problem which he is facing while teaching that subject. And whatever the action research he does, whatever will be the finding, this finding cannot be used by another teacher of the same subject. No, cannot be used. But if you do an experimental study, then the finding can be replicated and finding can be used. So that is the major difference between action research and that. Now, you have to have a hypothesis because you can test it. You will be using the t-test, and that is not t-test, correlated t-test you will be using it. So therefore, that is important. So you have to have that. Now, if that is, now you know your sample. In the title 1, you are doing this research with class 8 students of DAV schools Rohtak. So you are teaching in that school and you are taking the students from there. Which students? Those students who are having problem in understanding the volumes of cylinders. Those you do not have, you may not take them. So you take the group and you first develop a test achievement in volume, you write your question, and your question will be objective type. Okay? Because, or if you want to have the problems, in this particular case, you can have problem, then you should know how many marks are to be given if the answer is not correct. So scoring key you have to develop. That scheme you have to develop. So that is what is important. Nirupam Pandya, I could not understand 3521819. What exactly the meaning of it? Now, that action research, Vinita, time period, you as a researcher has to decide whether it is 1 week is all right or 10 days are all right, because it cannot be 1 year, because you are taking a particular topic. So maybe 5 days, whatever that you think is appropriate, depending upon the characteristics of your student. No, Nirupam, no. See, when you say creative assembly and you want to compare, you can do. But if you think that the students are coming, then why do you do that? So you have to find out. संदेश आचार्य इसके अंदर एक ही रहेगा, क्योंकि आपके पास में जो ग्रुप का साइज है वो बहुत बड़ा नहीं है. अगर बड़ा ग्रुप है तो वहां पे आप कुछ और भी सोच सकते हैं, लेकिन प्राइमरीली जो एक्शन रिसर्च होता है वो प्री टेस्ट पोस्ट टेस्ट सिंगल ग्रुप डिजाइन पर ही आधारित होता है, क्योंकि आपके पास में बहुत बड़ा ग्रुप नहीं होगा. अगर आपके पास में बहुत बड़ा ग्रुप है तो मैं आपको कल बता दूंगा कि क्या करना है. तो डियर फ्रेंड्स, आज मैंने टुडे आई हैव टोल्ड यू हाउ टू राइट the title for the action research, objective for the action research, and hypothesis for the action research. Now tomorrow I am going to take one particular example, and then I will try to take the data and will try to analyze the data and will tell you how exactly that analysis has to be done. So I will do data analysis and then I will do the interpretation also, how the interpretation has to be done. You can do analysis by hand, manual, and you can do analysis with the help of a software package. The choice is yours. I will tell you both. And then on the last day, I will tell you how to write the report. It will be a very small report, not very big report. So I stop it here and we meet tomorrow. So thank you very much for joining and taking the advantage of this.